What's something that's mundane in your country, but foreigners think is incredible? Nightless nights, reindeer. Some people really like our metal music. I asked a colleague from India what he found most interesting since moving to the US, and he said, the orderly traffic. He did a mind-blown motion and everything. When I went to Japan, all the rain gutters had aggressive crabs living in them. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Old buildings. 50 of the people in my city live in buildings built before 1800. As a foreigner in SE Asia, I'm always very excited to see monitor lizards, much to the amusement of locals. In the UK, I kinda love how excited tourists get about Greggs. Our enormous parking lots. Americans don't even blink at a 3-acre parking lot. The Europeans are astonished every time. I married into a South African or amused by how excited an American, get about guava and passion fruit flavored everything when we visit them. And the cheap, amazing wines, confirming that they get very excited about squirrels and free refills when they visit here. Red Solo party cups. The wildlife. I don't think I've met a tourist who didn't have see a koala on their to-do list. But I probably wouldn't consider them mundane, because I get super excited and really happy when I see a koala and I live here. Mundane would probably be kangaroos. Clean drinking water. We have no idea. A Coca-Cola delivery truck was in the parking lot where I was working. There was a couple from the UK that was very excited about it. They took selfies next to the truck and the driver let them sit in the driver's seat for more pictures. Seemed like a real treat for them. Squirrels. Paying for public restrooms. Bike paths everywhere. Temples in Taiwan. Every background has one. There's probably 6 or 8 within a 5 minutes walk from building. An American visited, and he was mind blown that one of my windows looks over some back alley temple. I'll see if I can find a pic. Hummingbirds. I live in Palm Springs, CA, and was visiting the Morton Botanical Gardens when I overheard someone with a British accent say, "OMG, is that a hummingbird?" I wasn't aware they don't have hummingbirds where they live. They were just astounded and amazed watching it flit around, stop and hover, then move on. Opossums in America, they're big, light-colored, and pink-nosed, with a hairless skinny tail. The Indian workers saw one and ran over with their arms wide exclaiming, "I just saw a mouse and it was this big." My husband is from Brazil and saw capybaras and golden tamarins regularly, apparently tamarins like chips. And it was so funny to him that I grew up seeing them as exotic and cool. On the flip side, he's taken pictures of things like Starbucks to send to his friends back in Brazil. Milk in bags. Though, to be fair, I've heard it's incredible to other Canadians too, depending where they live. When our family members from other countries visit, I've noticed deer, turkeys, and coyotes blow their mind. A lot of the Safeways have sushi in the deli section as well, and they've found it pretty crazy. The distance for things is another huge point of wonderment and shock as well. So many of our family and their friends don't believe us when we say you can't expect to go to Yellowstone and Yosemite in one day. Kangaroos and koalas. No speed limit on the Autobahn. Baguette vending machines. Used to work retail in Metro Detroit, and we got lots of Canadians that came over to shop. They were absolutely fascinated by $1 bills. I've lived in Florida my entire life, so alligators are just a thing that you see in the water and occasionally crossing the road. Well, today my wife and I went to the Alligator Farm Zoo in St. Augustine. It's accredited. I checked just to see what it's like. And boy were there a lot of international travelers from Europe having their minds blown. Y'all really do act like a 7-year-old seeing a real-life dinosaur for the first time lol. All the really old churches in Europe. I'm from the US. So buildings that are 400 years old are really hard to come by. Over in the UK and France they're just about a dime a dozen. Moose. It's just a big annoying dangerous cow. This is really for Americans from different states. In Ohio we have drive-thrus where you can buy a 6-pack of beer without getting out of the car. My friend from Pennsylvania finds this utterly amazing. Grocery superstores in America were quite the impressive thing to our exchange students from Europe. Back in the day. Not sure if it's still as impressive. They were amazed we had so many choices of types of food and brands of the same foods. Castles. Castles everywhere. Wales had the most castles per square mile of any country. Just on the Gower Peninsula, which is about 70 square miles, there are 6 castles or castle ruins. They're just part of the landscape here. Some are in city centers, overlooking marshes or beaches or up on top of hillsides. I find them both endlessly fascinating and simultaneously just part of the backdrop. Maple syrup. I'm from Quebec and I'm mad when a breakfast restaurant wants to make me pay for it lol. And it's a delicacy around the world and super expensive. Iguanas and chickens roaming around everywhere. Bars that don't close, more boats than cars. Free public electric BBQs. In Australia, at many beaches and parks, there are free BBQs. They are nearly always clean and work very well. Everyone uses them and cleans them after they finish cooking. Maple syrup. Garbage disposals. The size of the US. We had some German cousins visit a number of years ago. They were shocked by the driving distance between Las Vegas and Phoenix. They were terribly impressed with our favorite Chinese buffet. The idea of free drink refills was amazing. They were very good about putting us up in Berlin and I was grateful we could reciprocate. Kids playing outside at 40 degrees Celsius. The fall colors. Like, don't get me wrong. It's really pretty in the fall here. That's autumn for some of you. But it happens every year. People travel hours to come see our trees do the same thing they do every year. Being friendly to damned near everyone. Super large portions at restaurants, especially drink sizes. I was amazed when we saw fireflies for the first time. Finally understood the references in fairy tales and Disney movies. Singapore, our crosswalk buttons have a pad that elderly people can tap their ID bus card onto. Get more crossing time. I've seen so many amazing tech inventions that the whole world needs TikToks and they always feature them. I've only seen an elderly person use it once. Still neat though. The views. Norway. It's more or less the same everywhere with minor variations. Kinda just becomes the background after a while and you stop noticing it for the most part. Edit. Yes, I'm generalizing somewhat. There are also major variations from area to area, but you still stop noticing it. Japan behaving with basic human decency. Kipfenster. I used to have guy friends come in from Denmark and they just loved V8 engines. Phone boxes and double-decker buses. I dunno. Gonna post up for Italians. Was on vacation there and was friggin' super excited to have a public water bottle station produce regular and carbonated water for free. Edit. Dopey American here. Getting naked together in a small room and beating ourselves and each other with twigs. Northern Lights. Okay, they're sometimes pretty. Ordinary houses that are over 200 years old.